So good morning or good evening is a better thing. Today, working on the 996. It is cold, needed a little heat, doing it in the garage. So this is a common problem with the 996 is it occurred to me. I'll show it to you guys. Here's the key. Sorry, the stereo's on. So the car headlights, they're supposed to come on. And right now, it did it this time, but if you can see, that is surprising. The xenon headlights, they decide when to turn on. Sometimes they turn on, sometimes they don't. Right now, it's decided to turn it on. As you can see, there's two lights in there, a low beam and a xenon light. And they turn on when they want or when they don't. So the switch is really not working well. And that's what I've found on all the forums and stuff, that basically it's the switch usually that goes bad. It's this thing right here. And now that I'm actually trying to show it to you guys, it's working. But maybe if I start the car, and then you'll see. Yeah, exactly. So now I started the car, it's not doing it. That is the odd part. You see this? The xenon light is not coming on. That is strange. And apparently it's all down to the switch. Well, just figured out another part that I didn't even know, but hell, if you apparently only put it in you don't turn the car in ignition, and then you turn them on. Did they work this time? Let's see. Yep, as you can see, the xenon bulb did not come on. So the fix for this, apparently I went on the forums. It's this switch, and FCP Euro had the part, but I Googled it, and I was able to get part from actual Porsche dealership. The part is actually made in Italy. I thought it would be German car, Italian parts. That's wonderful. Okay. So apparently it's this switch that goes behind this the control module that goes behind the switch that you see there. That these pins apparently over time they don't make good contact, and therefore the switch doesn't function properly. So we're going to try to change this out. This switch from our local Porsche dealership was about $300. I managed to get it for about $130 by just Googling the part number and getting it from a Porsche dealership that had it on sale. I think it was coming from all the way and Garden Porsche in Las Vegas. Okay. So what it is apparently you have to take, it's hard to see, but there's two T20 bolts here that you have to take out, and then you go pull this out, and underneath it there is a pin that you unlock this switch from, and then it can come out, and then there's another T20 bolt in there. So we're going to try to change this up. Just watch. I know it's hard to see, so I'm just gonna, that's gonna be a little bit harder to access than I thought. And it's harder to film, but I'm gonna go ahead, take this off, and then just try seeing if I can unbolt this. Nope, not by hand, but this thing is coming out because it's been done. Okay, I'm gonna get back to you to the video once I get these two things unbolted. Tip number one, you can do the top one with a screw driver, but the bottom one you're going to have to take out using a small ratchet. Let's see, because there's not enough room due to the door being in the way. Okay, let's get this thing out. So tip number 2 is going to be that you have to remove this thing from here like that, and apparently on the bottom when you pull it there's a small clip, and you have to press it down. One of these small screwdrivers that you get in a set, a precision screwdriver set, it works well for this, and then you get this switch out, and apparently there is, it's hard to see, but in this angle right here there's another area where there is a T20 bolt that you need to remove in order to pull this whole section out. So I'm going to try to access it. It's very low light, it's evening time, it's hard to see, so I'm going to get that out and then go from there. The next part, they don't tell you this, but that right there is a deep socket. You can't get access to it with a screwdriver because it's too thick to get into, fit into that tiny opening to access that T20. So you're going to have to buy something like this. Just went to AutoZone and had to get it. You could have either gotten a single screwdriver, which was $10, or this whole set of multiple star key set for like $9.99. And now we're going to try to get that bolt out and then go from there. Managed to get that bolt loose. The single one probably will work better, but I don't like having just one tool. God knows when I'm ever going to use that one again. That's why I got the multi-set. So now we're going to use these plastic cover removers to get in here and get this. Apparently this whole thing pulls out like this, kind of away, out and away from you. So we're going to get in here and try to get it. I'm going to try to do this off camera to get it loose so that I don't scratch the finish. As you can see, there, it's harder than it looks. You have to first kind of pull it from the bottom here and then pull it to the side and wiggle it around. That Torx actually fell. Let's keep that bolt. Okay, and let's see. It's deep in there because it's, you can see there's some padding and it's kind of trying to hold the AC vent in place. So take your time, don't scratch. When you pull this thing out, you're going to notice first there's a little connecting cable, which is kind of starting to, on the rubber is starting to melt around it. And then there is a connecting clip on the back of that switch you have to remove in order to pull this whole thing assembly out. So got that small connector off. You can just press that and pull that out. But this thing, where I don't know what everybody says that this is easy to get out, you're not going to be able to get it out by hand. So another tip is use a flathead screwdriver, and there's some corners that right there where you can slide in and create enough force to pull this off. And it doesn't, yeah, you can see the tips on this thing. Yeah, they look a little bit bad. So I can see where this wasn't making a perfect connection and causing problems. So let's go ahead, and now we're going to take this part out by unclipping these tabs here. You see in the corner, these little black tabs hold this plastic bezel in place. So you have to get that bezel out, and then you can remove the switch. Another part, next part, is to get this switch out of there. They're telling you, some of them are saying to take this bezel out around by taking these clips off, which is not really happening, and I really don't want to break the clips. Another technique is to take this this whole bolt off of there And by that, you just I use some needle nose pliers and I loosened it, and now I can just rotate it with the hand. So once I get that out, apparently you can then just wiggle. So let's do it. Let's take this thing off. Oh, sorry for the shaking. So we took that off, and now apparently all you have to do is um, kind of rotate this, and it should be able to come out from its opening. So we'll try that next. So yeah, I tried to take the clips out, and by just itself, and that by taking that bolt off. But you have to eventually take these clips. You have to put a flathead screwdriver and then kind of push them up and get them out, and then this starts. The bezel does start to come out, but it's just unnerving to do it, and like you don't want to break these damn clips. So, but you have to lift them up a little bit and push them out, and it does eventually come out. It's a little bit of a struggle. Got this thing out of there. I don't know, and everybody that tells you that this is easy to do, they're essentially lying. This is harder than it looks. There's these little tabs that you had kind of lift and pull out of there. Um, Pull out of these little holes, and they're saying, yeah, this is easy to do. This is not easy to do. People, be careful, because this is just a freaking plastic part. You will easily break these, and then this thing will be moving in and out. So no point in breaking it. Take your time with this part. So this switch is stuck in there. Kind of, you have to rotate it counterclockwise, and then once you line up the tabs, it falls right up. So time to put the new switch in, and then put the bezel back on, put the bolt back on, and then we'll go to the next steps. So yeah, finally got it out. Time to swap out the old with the new. And I don't care. These little videos that they put on YouTube, geniuses think, oh my God, just one step, one step, one step. No, this is harder than it looks, and these small parts cost a lot. So be careful doing this. Take your time. It took me a little while to get out of this. Here's the whole part, and you can see on the ends, you see over years how there's buildup of, I don't know whether that's carbon or just dirt over the years, or the connections are not the best. Plus pulling it out, I'm sure we got a little bit, those cords that are with it are melted. So I'm sure I got them a little bit more dirty. Here's the new one. Let's see if any of that's on the new ones on the end. So yeah, so you can see clearly the ends look perfect, and that's why you're able to get a better connection and go from there. So let's pop this thing in and figure it out. Do remember the position where you popped it in and how it's going to look, because, or have video to review the old one. Otherwise it's going to be harder to put back correctly. Another thing to remember, so this is the correct position of this thing. So there's a little opening that should be pointing towards the bottom, bottom of the vent, kind of like that. So when you screw it in place, it should look like this. If you do it the other way, it can still go in, but it'll be the wrong position, and you'll be doing this all over again. So be careful. Trying to get this thing back in place. Once you have to put the bolt back on, tighten it. Be careful with this cord. It has a covering on it, which is sticky, and it's going to get on these ends, connecting ends. So be careful, and if you do get it dirty, clean them. So all you do now is just plug this switch back on. It just slides forward, and the same with this one. They both just kind of slide on there, and then you can pop this thing back in place and pop the bezel, pop the covering back on after you put the T20 screw on there. So we're going to connect these two lines, put the housing back, and then go from there. Yeah, it pops back in place. Made it a little dirty, not bad, but there's some clips. And now when we're going to tighten these screws, then it should line up a little bit better. But it looks pretty good. Not the best. We'll have to clean it a little bit better after. And let's see if there's any gaps. I have to push it down a little bit. Yeah. Not bad. Not a bad. Okay, the panel gap is there a little bit, but I think it'll align a little bit better once I put the screws back. Okay, next part, put the screws back in. So, moment of truth. Time to put the switch back on and see if all this works. Sorry, I know the car's dirty, and I know this is also a little bit of a dirty job, so you're gonna have to clean up afterwards. Those screws are easy. This one inside that T20, be careful, take your time with it. Let's pop this thing back on. And see if everything works out. It's on. No, where's the key at? Let me go find the key. So yeah, moment of truth. Car is on now. 107. And look at that! Ha ha ha! Xenons are on. First try. Not bad at all, Porsche. Let's see this. Everything works. Comes off. Here's the daytime running lights, full lights, high beams. Awesome. This is a great DIY. Do it yourself. Save a lot of money. Don't let Porsche charge you whatever, $400 or $500. I'm sure this is about $200 to $300 in labor and about $200 in parts. So I'm sure you can save about $400 to $500 by doing this yourself. Honestly, the only thing you will likely have to buy is a torque set, and the rest of the stuff you should have at home. Maybe these plastic clips, which you can get for $10 off Amazon. And this, just went and got one of these from Home Depot for about $12. Actually, it was about $10.99 plus tax. So thanks for watching. As always, enjoy your Porsche. Bye-bye.